right. Chest day. Got a minor detour to make. My brother's bike tire is flat on the back. When when I went to school, right? Of course, I'm not gonna walk to class. Fucking takes too long. So I ride my bike around, and like a fool, I left it on my front porch without locking it. Right? I did that a couple times in a row. I'm like, oh shit, all right, I guess it's fine. No more need to fucking lock it. Right? Week of finals, I go to hop on the, fucking get out in the cold. Where's my bike? So, like an asshole, I let it get stolen. So for like a whole week, I was fucking reloading, eBay, Craigslist, fucking ads. Shame on me for that one. So of course I came back home, took my brother's bike, and then fucking halfway through the semester got a flat, and I just never bothered to fix it until now. But for chest, I'm gonna go to the Y. So lifts that are gonna be at my disposal or exercises are incline barbell, incline incline Smith machine. There is a incline-ish stack loaded chest press there. It's okay. Well, actually it's good, but for me, for the most part, once you reach a certain point in your lifting, machines that are stack loaded, right, with the weight pins, some of them are just not designed for the highly advanced lifter. But let's say I do a couple sets of heavy bench and incline Smith first. Right. Then if I go over to that machine, I won't need so much weight. Right. So it'll maybe I'll hop on there today. I'm not sure. And then pec deck and cable flies. That's really all you need. I like variability in my chest training in terms of what I do is my heavy pressing movement. Like if you've been watching these back, before day 100 and stuff like that, when I was at the gym I go to when I'm at school, I was doing incline dumbbell as the start of fucking every chest day, right? And I was even saying, like, when I was doing that I did not care for incline barbell. Like, it felt like shit. It was like hard on my shoulders. Jesus Christ. Right? But now, I've been starting off fucking every lift with incline barbell. Right? So, some movements just sort of come in phases for me. Right? Some days I wouldn't mind doing literally 8 sets of inclined barbell bench and then finishing with, I don't know, uh, 3 sets of like pec deck or cable flies, right? And then other days, maybe I want to do just 2 sets of inclined barbell, then move on to Smith machine, then move on to a machine press, then move on to cables, then pec deck, right? It's, the volume of the workout is basically the same for me, no matter whether or not I do 5 movements or 2 movements, right? So if I start off on some movement that I really like let's say I get on incline barbell today and it's just clicking, then why the fuck would I move on to another chest press, right? Some days a specific movement is just going to feel better. And, I'd rather capitalize on that than move on to a new movement and, get at best as good of a feeling as that one. And at worst, a worse feeling. And then I got to move on to another movement, right? But either way, let's just get fucking started. So this gym weight room is connected directly to the actual like basketball court. And there's a fucking Zumba class loud as hell. So I might have, these first few sets just might have to be totally quiet. I think they'll be done soon. I hope.
That's enough of that. Let's move on to fucking something else.
So I don't know if it's because I skipped chest last chest day and, taking 1 week off chest that just didn't recover or something, or if I got really bad sleep last night. But my chest is weak today. Like, usually I'm starting off with like 365 on the incline Smith machine. Today, 315 for 10 was hard. But, I say this before, some days you're just not going to be totally on it, right? I know for a fact, even though my strength is a little bit lower today for whatever reason, I'm still going to get a crazy pump. And the workout is still going to be fucking, helping me progress towards muscle growth, right? If you're, particularly egotistical, then, coming into the gym one day and being weaker than you are normally, I could see how that could fuck with your brain. But, I like lifting heavy weight. Obviously, you see me do it all the time. But, my main goal is to get a fucking pump and grow, right? The heavy weight's almost just for fun in a sense. It's not just for fun, but you get what I'm saying. Two more of those. So I squeezed for the first few reps on those first two sets, just because, I was still feeling pretty strong. These flies are pretty early in my workout. But this set, I'm just going to fucking throw the weight around. Let's move on to something else. Okay, I was kind of taking a while to decide what I wanted to do next between this or that one hammer. Well, no, I guess just a machine bench press, but this opened up first, so that's what I picked. So these will be sort of like half fly, half press combined. The cables are super wide apart, so when I'm in the stretch position, it'll feel pretty much like a fly. But, or no, yeah. Okay, I guess it's more fly than press. And then when I actually get to the top, right, the cables are trying to pull my hands apart, just like a fly. Crazy squeeze, emulate it if you want. I got 3 sets here.
Oh, fuck. Oh. Okay. Little tip for any kind of cable-based pressing for chest. Like, I'm sure you've seen the machine where you sit down on a seat and there's two cables over here, right? To actually feel the chest squeeze, I always want to have my palms, toward each other like this, right? Because the more that I twist my hands inward, I feel a lot more shoulder working. I'm not trying to get a shoulder pump, I'm trying to get a fucking chest pump. Another little trick, if you, it mainly applies to movements that are almost exactly like this, but I'm not gonna sit here and grab these fucking heavy weights on, this crazy range of motion and try to wrench them into this pressing form. I'm gonna fucking hurt myself for sure. So instead, I'll grab one with two hands, walk it over to the other one so that I can start right here and I just have to scoot over. Oh, fuck. Gonna stay on the same machine, but instead of doing presses, I'm just gonna do cable flies. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Okay. Chest is fully pumped. Let's go see what it looks like. Whew. Right before I headed down the elevator, if I've got the choice between stairs or standing in a room that's going to move down for me, post-workout, I think you know what I'm going to pick. But I was just talking to my main man, Sip, and guess what? He's like, oh, dude, I got a fucking headache. I'm going to get through my workout. I'm not a pussy, but fuck, dude, I got a splitting headache. You know what I asked him? You been drinking a fucking ton of liquids with electrolytes? I think you know his answer, right? Of course he wasn't. For me, as long as I got fucking fluids in my body, and I've had some, now, scoop of Silo 9, got some electrolytes in there. But I mean, really, any kind of electrolytes, you've seen people do the salt in the pre-workout, shit like that, right? When you're hydrated with all your fucking potassium, magnesium, all sorts of whatever shit, sodium, I just don't get fucking headaches, man. And I tell you what, I've had headaches before, and it only happens when I drink like, shit for water, no electrolytes. So I think that it's a pretty simple fix. And I mean, in some instances, dude, a headache will seriously fuck you up in a lift. For me, the last one that I remember having, it was a chest day. No, what am I saying? It was a leg day. And I was squatting, dude. The fucking bottom of every rep felt like my head was about to fucking explode. If only I were a responsible lifter that day, and drank my goddamn jug full of little freaking water and electrolytes. But enough of that. Let's get back to the pump at hand. So, yeah, a little fucking weak today. I'm not exactly certain why. Goddamn. Yeah. But weak or not, oh my god, still fucking pumped out of my freaking mind. So, I'm perfectly satisfied with that lift. If it's a day where you're feeling on it and you're fucking extra strong, or, I mean, honestly, I didn't feel any different than usual. I was just a little fucking weaker, right? But I still fucking did my sets hard. I didn't let it mess with my mind, right? I just accepted it as fact, There's, this is a little bit of an idea that I like sort of thinking about. There's a difference between like being realistic with yourself and being unnecessarily hard on yourself, right? It's let's say you're kind of a new guy to the gym, or perhaps you're a guy who used to go to the gym a lot, then you took a couple years off or something, you're trying to get back into it, and you're like, oh fuck, dude, everybody's so much fucking bigger than me. Oh geez. Let's say you're dieting. Oh man, I don't have my abs anymore, right? The enlightened lifter is going to look at himself and think, all right, got a bit extra excess body fat on me. It's been a while since I've trained, or I haven't trained at all yet. So of course, I'm going to be fucking weaker than, some of the people in the gym next to me. But if I stick to it, then guess what? Progress is going to come, The guy who can understand the fact that lifting, tracking his macros, whatever, like sticking to that program is going to give him results. He's not going to be discouraged by the fact that he's not where he wants to be. If anything, that's going to make him more motivated, right? But it's kind of a downward spiral of beating yourself up. Because in your mind, it's almost like you're, adding to the, let's say, the hypothetical opposition against you, right? Like if you're laying at home, you don't necessarily have the motivation. You don't want to think to yourself, oh, I want to I want to stay at home just because I'm lazy, right? You might want to say some shit like, ah, oh, geez, I'm so fucking tired. Oh, man, I can't do it. It's like, oh, it's like in your mind, you're sort of creating a scenario in which you just can't fucking make progress. Ooh, I don't know if that was a completely cohesive thought, but, whatever, right? Just because you're not where you want to be doesn't mean that the work that you're putting in isn't going to give you progress. And if you got a little bit of a roadblock, injury, fucking lifestyle, like you got to do shit or work, whatever, right? If you can work around it, you're going to come out way stronger than the guy who fucking got to coast through all his workouts. But enough of that. Enough of this talk. Let's just admire the pump. Oh, that's fucking freaky. Whew. Oh, not a ton of poses for chest, in all honesty. Side chest, most muscular, lat spread. Just standing here, they're looking pretty fucking pumped. So, I can't really emphasize this enough. Even though, right, by a numerical standard, my sets were weaker than I've done previously. Does this pump look any fucking worse? Right? If you're a power lifter, I guess you could have a little bit of a different perspective on that, right? If you're programmed to hit a certain number and then you miss it, shit, that was your fucking goal. But in that sense, bodybuilding training, it's a little bit simpler in the fact that it's purely effort based. Even if I was half as strong as normal today, not that I really would ever expect to be, but let's say for whatever reason I came down with a crazy ass sickness or some shit for the last 2 days. And today I came back feeling better, right? And I was literally at half strength. If I still went hard and I got as much of a pump as I could, then guess what? I fucking succeeded, So that's pretty much all I got to say about that. I'm going to go back upstairs, loiter for a little bit, hit a little bit of calves. Calves and cardio, man. I know you fuckers aren't doing it. Just a couple of sets after, in all honesty, if your calves are not sore, just do a couple sets. It's not that fucking hard. I'm not even going to sit there and get hyped up for them. I'm going to be kind of scrolling on my phone in between. Because it's I don't know, for me at least, it's just not a muscle that demands extreme attention. But it needs a little bit of fucking work. Come on. Do you not care? Do you just really not care about having bigger calves? If that's the case, then, just tell me to shut up. But I think we could all use some bigger fucking some bigger drumsticks below our knees. So I'm gonna go do that, and then we can get in the fucking car and get out of here.
All right. Chest successful. Right? You got to think about it like this. That was just another fucking productive lift under the belt. Under the freaking belt. And the more of those that you can do, the better. Right? And not every lift has to be, completely perfect. Right? Ideally, they would be, right? Ideally, every night I would get a perfect 8 hours of sleep, be completely hydrated, depending on if I'm bulking or cutting, be either, very well and overfed in a bulking context, or, just fed enough to get a good pump in a dieting phase, and then be completely, perfectly fucking crazy hyped every lift. Right? That would be the best case scenario. But we don't live in that kind of world, man. We got shit to do sometimes. Right? So if you got some fucked up lifts, uh, right, to an extent, you just got to deal with it. But it could also be your responsibility to take a little bit more charge with time outside of the gym to make your lifts more productive, right? Have better lifts than worse lifts on average. But I guess it depends on how crazy you are about the gym, right? Like for somebody who's really insane about progress, they don't mind fucking kind of orienting their whole day, their whole fucking life around the gym, right? And then more casual gym goers, it's not so important, right? It just depends on you, but I think we could all use some more gains. That's a fucking fact. So 2 scoops of protein, 50 grams of CDX unflavored. Still 2 for 1. Code Sam CDX. You gotta have 2 in the cart. I keep getting DMs about that, how it's like not working. It's still up. I'll tell you when it's not. I will freaking tell you. But let's slam this and get out of here. That is a lot of fluid. I do not like chugging a shake right after the gym. But you know what does like it? These right here. These right here. These right here. Right? I'm not gonna sit here and tell you that the anabolic window is 100% real. But, you know, if your car runs out of gas, do you want to wait a couple days before filling it up? No, you don't. You probably want to get that bitch full ASAP, or else you're gonna run out of gas. All right, so same kind of bro science logic is gonna apply to your muscles as well. If you fucking burn out your chest, muscle glycogen depleted, you've got some perhaps muscular damage, right? Everybody talks about ripping up the fibers, whatever. You need some energy to recover from that shit, man. Right? So, in a dieting context, you need enough energy to recover, right? But in a bulking context, when you're trying to gain weight, oh, that's cute. There's a little rabbit in front of me. So in a bulking context, when you're trying to gain weight, you need enough energy to not only recover, but also, fucking. Am I thinking of a word that doesn't exist? I don't know. You also need, so you gotta, for one thing, recover to baseline, and then go even further beyond that state into actual muscular growth, right? If you don't eat in a fucking calorie surplus, taking in more energy than you're burning, right? Then how are you gonna fucking gain muscle? Your body is just gonna say, "Oh, look at that. We recovered. We recovered the muscle from all the damage you did, but we didn't have enough energy to add any muscle mass. We didn't have enough calories to throw some tissue on. So instead, we're just going to maintain how big you are now." And that's where I feel like a lot of people get stuck. I think I say this all the time, but the majority of gym goers are in a state of maintenance, right? They're just in a state of perpetual. It's honestly, in my mind, I almost think think of it more so as plateauedness, right? Because if you were to ask anyone in the gym if they would like to be, slightly more muscular, perhaps, maybe a little bit leaner in a baseline state, guess what? They're going to say they would, right? But I mean, maybe they just aren't tracking their calories strictly enough or at all. I think at all is probably the more likely case. And maybe they, got their tips from one, kind of big guy at the gym who like showed them how to work out, and they just haven't really, challenged the ideas of what they're doing. You know, I'm sure there's fucking hundreds, thousands, millions of people going into the gym and just doing the same workout routine every week. They've got progressive overload at the back of their mind. And in terms of their diet, it's always like, ah, oh, man, I know I'm bad. I know I'm bad for eating this. Whatever. You know, in a, obviously, in a bulking context, that's not so much of a problem. If anything, it may be a good thing if you've got trouble getting down calories, right? But, to be aimless is to make no progress. Now, I'm not saying that everybody wants to get bigger, wants to be leaner. I'm just saying if you do, which I'm, probably right in thinking that you do, then that's got to be kind of a specific goal you should be working towards. You can't just go to the gym and think to yourself, I want to be bigger and leaner. You do your workout and then you go home and you just don't think about it the rest of the day, right? So I guess in this, to that point, I'm really sort of trying to motivate the obsessed lifters, right? Maybe try to inspire you guys to be a little bit more lifter centric in your day to day life, right? I say this a lot too. In all, probably the one thing that I've thought about the most in the past like 5 years, every day, if you were to do like uh, if you were to do like a screen time analyzation of my fucking brain, like you do on your phone, right? Where it says like, you spend 12 hours on TikTok a day, shit like that. The number one fucking thing I'm sure that I've been thinking about has been, the fucking gym, right? Because if you really get into it, if that's your fucking thing, then you've almost got no choice but to have that be the case, right? Because every time you go to bed, right, what I'm getting rested up for the next day isn't like a fucking, test or um, like work presentation or whatever. Like, sure, I got shit to do, right? Like school, work, whatever. But what I'm thinking about when I'm going to bed is, all right, fuck, 8 hours of sleep. Yeah, that's gonna be a good back day. When I'm eating food, it's like, all right, 50 grams of protein in this steak, probably 20 grams of fat-ish. They basted it in butter, and then what is that? 60 grams of mashed potatoes. All right, beep beep beep. Plug it into my phone, dude. Fucking all the time, man. It to be obsessed, there's just no there's just no other option, right? And the more that you can, think about and optimize different parts of your life towards, lifting, since it's not just it's kind of interesting because it's not just like a hobby, right? It's not like, uh, you know, I know, let's just say chess. Fucking everybody's playing chess nowadays, online chess. It's not just like you get online, you play your freaking game, and they're like, oh, I gotta take a break. That's the end of it, right? It's your fucking body. You're walking around with it all the time, you know? So everything you do every day is gonna kind of relate to your training, if training's at the forefront of your mind. So, main point I guess I'm trying to emphasize is that, if you want to make legit gains and separate yourself from the crowd in that sense, then you gotta kind of be fucking a little bit more crazy about it than everyone else, right? How would it make sense for you to do the exact same kind of training, put in the exact amount of effort into your diet, sleep, or just have the same schedule as somebody else, and then expect or want to have better results than them, in a muscle building kind of bodybuilding context, right? That's just not how this shit works. You got to be able to put in more than the guy next to you if you wanna mog him. I'm not saying that's my goal. You should really be trying to think about being better than you were in the past. You know, that's probably one of the most wholesome forms of motivation. But you know, we do live in the real world, right? Comparing yourself to others is kind of part of the game. So try not to let that mess with your head. Like I was saying in the pose down, uh, you know, comparing yourself to others in a sense, it's kind of a recipe for disaster, right? You don't want to read into that too much, right? The more you can kind of translate any sort of input into your mind into motivation, the better, right? The fucking loser lifter is going to see someone bigger than him and think, oh, geez, that guy's freaking, oh, man, I'm putting my pump cover back on. Whereas the kind of, you know, hyped, excited lifter, perhaps even, you know, borderline delusional, and I think a little bit of delusion is good for you, just a little bit. He's gonna think, all right, I'm gonna fucking catch up to that asshole. Just give me some time, right? Obviously, he's been lifting for longer than you, but you want to try to get a steeper slope of progress than he had to catch up. So, made a lot of points in this pose down and driving talk. Uh, I think most of it was pretty understandable, but either way, time to go home, eat, eat vitamins, shower somewhere in there, and then fucking bedtime. I did not fold my laundry. Oh my, I've got like 3 bins of clean laundry. I'm not, oh, wish me luck. So, I will see you tomorrow for back. And I set the bar pretty high last back day at Planet Fitness. That was a fucking sick pump. So I gotta try and meet it or beat it tomorrow. So hopefully I can. And, you know, call me an asshole if I can't. I need the motivation. So I'll see you next time.